hate that women feel the need to validate feminism to men by proving that it benefits them too. Not because it's not true, but because they shouldn't have to. Like, the fact that feminism is good for women isn't a strong enough argument on its own tells you everything about who's centered in every conversation.
You want to know something that most women aren't ready to hear? Modern feminism killed chivalry. Modern feminism has shifted from seeking equality to promoting superiority and resentment towards men, framing men as oppressors rather than partners and equals. With the birth of modern feminism, there came the birth of the girl boss, I don't need a man. Chivalry was never meant to make women look weak. It was made to create a culture of mutual respect where men acted honorably towards women and acknowledged their virtue and grace. Modern feminism, by demanding sameness instead of equality, has blurred those lines. In trying to erase gender differences, it's erased the gestures that celebrate them. The result of this is now we have an entire generation of men who are not willing to honor, pursue, or protect women. We have this entire generation of men who just want to hook up on the first date, who have no respect for women, who don't hold open the door, who don't buy flowers, and it is because of modern feminism. Not only that, but it is also a result of weak men. There's a reason that our grandparents have the cutest love stories where the men pursued the women and they didn't have sex until they were married and they respected and honored each other. And now we are seeing the result of the crash and burn of modern feminism. And unfortunately, it is affecting a lot of women looking for life partners and a lot of men looking for life partners. Feminism is great. The idea of feminism is great to promote equality, but it has evolved into something that is toxic and dangerous to our society.
For a long time, the sales pitch sounded amazing. The promise was simple. Feminism would make life easier, dating better, relationships fairer, and the future brighter. Women were told they could have everything at once. Independence, unlimited options, zero compromise, and still somehow end up with the perfect partner waiting at the finish line.
Excuse me if I don't make any sense for a moment. I'm trying to get into the mind of a feminist, okay? So they want equal rights, right? So whatever that means to them, probably abortion, right? Bodily autonomy. But that doesn't mean equal rights for men, because men still have to sign up for the draft, get circumcised without their bodily autonomy permission. They don't get to hit a woman back if the bitch slaps them. And they have to work in society. For society to work, men have to work, not women. So how in the world does feminism still make sense to this day? Once women achieved the right to vote and have their own bank account, I think that's where it could have fucking stopped. Because what the fuck are you even fighting for anymore? Because it's not equality, it's superiority, it's narcissism, it's vanity, it's nonsense is what it is, it's nonsense.
But fast forward to 2026 and reality is starting to feel a little different. The same system that promised endless opportunities isn't producing the results people expected. Dating apps feel exhausting, relationships are less stable than ever, and a growing number of men simply aren't participating the way they used to.
I think feminism ruined society. I think that's what really drove us apart entirely. But I think men being the providers, being the heads of household, should lead women towards goodness. And that doesn't mean that you should lead women that clearly have no potential towards it. Like if a woman is there's no leading her towards goodness, drop that and let them die out. But the women that clearly have some kind of potential in them, you should be the leader. You should be the teacher. Repeal the 19th around it so that they can't influence the shitty stuff anymore, and lead them into it.
Do you still agree?
I don't agree with repealing the 19th, but I do agree with men leading, and I'm being led by a wonderful man.
Why not repeal the 19th?
Because I believe I have a good enough equal voice.
Yeah, but middle-aged, young, educated, college-educated women are the only people holding up the Democrat Party right now. We need to stop.
Really.
And that's where the confusion begins. For decades, the assumption was that men would always keep chasing no matter what. No matter the criticism, the expectations, or the standards, men were supposed to keep competing for attention. But lately, a lot of men have quietly decided to do something radical. They stopped chasing. No dramatic protests. No angry speeches. They just stepped back.
So I infiltrated the women's empowerment movement on this app just to see kind of what the fuck the deal actually was, to see if they actually cared about women. On the surface, it really sounds like they did. It sounded like they were going to talk about femicide. It sounded like they wanted to help women, move forward in life. But once you actually keep paying attention, they've been yapping about men for years on this app, and they are just blaming men for their own suffering for years on this app. I didn't know it was for years, mind you. These women have been yapping about men and blaming men for years, okay? That is not women empowerment. When I infiltrated this whack job fucking cult on this app, I saw that these women just live in victim mentality, okay? They'll talk about mental health and seeing therapists and taking pills. Oh, absolutely, they fucking will. They won't talk about your physical health though, because they're still saying that body positivity, you could be as big as you fucking want, even though 400,000 women are dying every single fucking year from heart disease. That's not women empowerment, right? Blaming men for your own suffering 24/7 also isn't women empowerment, because their solution isn't even to leave men alone, because they can't even say that with their whole fucking chest. They don't tell women to delete the dating apps. They, mind you, they also hold up hookup culture. You can't have both realities in your brain if you're trying to decenter men and you simply can't tell women, stop fucking. Okay, that's not women empowerment. This fake women's empowerment cult on this app has showed me that these women don't give a fuck about women. It's all about their party affiliation. It's not about all women, okay? They don't give a fuck about women. As long as you vote their way, that's all they care about. They don't give a fuck if you're on your deathbed from not taking care of your physical health. Did you fill out your ballot? Did you fill it out? Okay, good. We'll get you some medicine later on. Cult on this app is actually fucking insane, okay? I thought for a moment we were gonna push, one direction. But no, these bitches on this app don't give a fuck about women. They don't give a fuck about women. They want women on medication. They want women to hate men but still date them somehow. I don't understand. They want women to go sprinkle when they have no fucking idea what the fuck sprinkle actually is. None of them have any fucking game. I would advise all these hoes to stop yapping about Sheer 7 because these bitches have no fucking game. That's why they keep getting dog walked by men. And this is just the surface of what this fucking psychotic cult is doing on this app. These bitches don't care about women. It's all about party. They put men before women. It's not about women. It's about a party affiliation. Feminism is dead.
Instead of constantly trying to prove themselves in the dating market, many men are focusing on building their own lives, careers, financial stability, fitness, hobbies, travel, and personal freedom. They're investing in things that actually give them peace instead of stress.
Okay, here is why more and more young women are rejecting feminism and just do not want to be associated with it at all. I think these younger generations have really, really good BS detectors. So on its face, feminism sounds great, right? Equality for all and girls supporting girls. That sounds so beautiful. But the second you kind of test that out, you very quickly find that it has just become a total facade. If I'm putting on makeup for my husband to come home from work, or if I'm cooking for him, they get upset. They don't like that. Whoever the head of PR is for feminism needs to be fired. They are doing a horrible job because almost all of their representatives who are outspoken, they just seem so miserable, so hateful, so bitter. It doesn't look fun at all. Nothing about that sounds appealing. I think that's why we're starting to see the trad wife stuff on TikTok, is because people are so sick of the other side, so done with the angry, man-hating, putting women down. Ugh, it's boring, it's old, we're done with it. You don't have to like me, you don't have to like other women on social media. You can call everybody names and be upset, but just don't pretend that you support other women, because you don't, and a lot of people are seeing right through it.
Feminism sold us the biggest scam of our generation. They told us we were empowered, but what did we actually get? Burnout, debt, stress, a double life where we work like men and still carry the entire home on our backs. And here's the truth nobody's talking about. Feminism didn't set women free. It trapped us in a masculine system that we were never designed for. They told us to compete with men, to lead like men, to talk, think, act like men, and now we're exhausted, we're disconnected, resentful, and wondering why nothing feels right. We don't need more feminism. We need to reclaim the femininity that was stolen from us, because that's where a woman's real power has always been. In softness, in harmony, emotional intelligence, intuition, influence. not in becoming a copy of the men we were created to complement. If you want to break free from this conditioning and learn how to step back into your feminine design, the design that brings peace, love, protection, and real freedom, that's exactly what I teach inside the Feminine Reset. Click the link in my bio for access.
And here's the twist that seems to irritate a lot of people. They're not miserable. In fact, many of these men look calmer, happier, and more stable than the guys who are still stuck chasing approval in a system that feels increasingly chaotic.
Russian women don't need feminism, they don't like it, and feminist movement will never spread in Russia. And let me explain you why. So the basics of feminism is women going against men. But in Russia, we already have a shortage of men. Believe me or not, my generation is still recovering after World War II, when all the men left and all the women were left behind with the hard work, working at the factories, raising kids, standing in line for hours for basic essentials like food, while women in America were basically locked up at the house as housewives. So now imagine that all the kids, especially boys, that was raised by single mothers, what kind of examples they had in front of them? That the mother have to work, after that come home and take care of kids, husbands. That's why in Russia we have such a problem with the aggressive and demanding men that want women not only go to work, but come home after work and take care of kids and man itself. And now you have the main idea of feminism, that women have to work even more. But Russian women want nothing more than a caring husband, providing for the family, helping with chores and raising their kids, which is rarity for Russia. Plus, we still have a shortage of men. For every man, there are 3 to 5 women. And because of our political situation right now, we are still losing men. So that's why instead of women against men movement, we have women coming together to support and save the men that we have. Today, mothers of the soldiers, sisters, wives of the soldiers are main women, and they are protected by the government. In 2018, some activists and bloggers, more of my generation, started pushing this movement into mass. But as you can guess, they got shut down pretty quickly by the government. And now, not even women need it in our country.
That shift changes everything. Because the old dynamic relied on men constantly competing, proving themselves, and seeking validation. When men stop doing that, when they become comfortable with independence, the balance of the entire dating culture starts to wobble.
Men and women are not equal, and I'll tell you why. And it has nothing to do with intelligence, capabilities. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact of how we are. It's not even socialization. There's no way to fix this one thing. There's just not. We are biologically different. I'm not talking about in the brain. I'm talking about our actual biology. I'm talking about the fact that every single little girl, unfortunately, this is the socialization, is handed a baby doll. That's the first toy she's given. We are told that we will be mothers from the first memory that we have. It never leaves us, this idea that we will be responsible, not just for other women, but for all of you. Men never go through that. You never have a time, much less built into you at a very early age, where you are going to be responsible for other people. Maybe eventually you'll grasp that because you're supposed to be leaders, blah, blah, blah. But being a leader when you're younger appears to be a strength feature, which is why so many that never outgrow being immature only see that. They only want to be like what we have now. These power-hungry, blah, blah, blah. It's not a responsibility issue. That's a second stage of morality through my education. Not just like, oh, I've read some books, but like, formal education and training and everything is largely in behaviorism. I mean, it's where my postgrads are in, human behavior. That and data. Those are where my postgrads are in, from Ivies. I don't mind doxing myself a little bit, because it didn't take studying all that to feel responsible for humanity. I got that when I was born. I got that the first time my parents handed me a doll. I got that before I even knew what it was. And then, think about this, like men never even consider this, but think about what it would be like to all of a sudden find out you are gonna have to do this most painful thing ever. We aren't given motherhood as an option. It is presented to us as a fait accompli. It is presented to us as this thing we will all go through. Choosing not to is such a fucking exercise in self-awareness. When I hear that, I'm like, that is somebody who is just... It never is presented to us as a choice. That the fact that people ever choose it is a remarkable feature to me. A remarkable feat of human strength that any woman ever says, I don't want kids. Even as a little kid, if she goes, I don't think I want kids, you have no idea You have no idea the personal character that takes to even consider bucking up against the system like that. And to do it... My dogs want me. Pause.
Now you see the frustration showing up online. Complaints about men not approaching. Complaints about men refusing to commit. Complaints about men choosing peace, hobbies, and financial goals over relationship drama.
Girl boss feminism did not save the wizard Liz, and it's not going to save you either. And the way the whole conversation about it is going is like a masterclass in liberal feminism, like girl boss feminism. I want to preface this by saying I am not interested really in the interpersonal dynamics of the situation, because it doesn't matter who it is in this situation. The wizard Liz is just the person that is an example of what's going on right now. Anytime a conventionally attractive and successful woman gets cheated on, the entire public's reception of that and the shock that people have is emblematic of this kind of girl boss feminism. Because women like the wizard Liz did not subvert any kind of systems of oppression, she just tried to exist within them and win at the game. There is no winning in the game if you are living under a patriarchy. It does not matter how conventionally attractive you are, how spiritually enlightened and using these new age spiritual concepts you are, how successful you are. In any kind of dynamic where there's a relationship between a man and a woman, the man automatically has more power because of the society that we live in. And the new age spirituality that I gleaned from the few videos I watched of the wizard Liz that she's talking to her audience about simply just repackages conservative gender roles, but in like a girl boss, spiritually enlightened way. Seeking out a man to allow you to be in your feminine and who is a masculine provider is still reinforcing gender roles, even if it is in this new age package. And we will never be liberated by those things. Women are not going to be successful under the current system. It doesn't matter how well we play the game. And this is not to say that every woman needs to be living a politically feminist lifestyle. That's not at all what I'm encouraging. I'm just encouraging people to be a little bit more critical. And the way that people are talking about this situation with this shock that she could be cheated on while she's 4 months pregnant is because we are all brainwashed by this kind of liberal feminism. And when we talk like that, we are then valuing a certain kind of woman and devaluing another kind of woman. I know that's not what people mean to do with this rhetoric, but it just goes to show you how powerful the messaging from liberal feminism is, that people are genuinely shocked. The only way that we can see any kind of change is when we decenter men and we disassemble patriarchy. That's it. Until then, shit like this will continue to happen.
In other words, the game is still there, but fewer men are interested in playing. And the longer men experience the calm that comes from stepping away from the chaos, the harder it becomes to convince them that they're the ones missing out.
I'm saying that the only reason why these weak men, these beta men that have the ideology of appealing to the woman's way of thinking and the woman's way of lifestyle, which is not even beneficial to women. Sexual liberation is not beneficial to women. Feminism isn't beneficial to women. These are all things that is propagated in society that you think that it's good for women. You think that it's good for you to be in a workforce and you to acquire all of this debt, where back in the day where it was very simple for you to find a man that you love, and the man incurs the debt. You don't have to incur any debt. But now, for you to even live, to even try to thrive in this society, you need a job. Most families have to have a 2 income to even get through. So this is where your kid is off to daycare. This is the indoctrination of feminism. This is weak men, the weak minds putting this into y'all, to cater to y'all, to get this vote saying sexual liberation, saying, yeah, go ahead and get an education. Men want to hold you back from all of these things. This is not anything good. Now they got y'all chasing a bag over rather than chasing family and what truly gives you purpose and meaning in life. They are trying to take that meaning away and put your focus on material things. Chase the bag. Get the nicest things. These things don't give any meaning to life. They're meaningless. Feminism does not benefit women at all. It's detrimental to women.
Because once a man realizes he can build a stable, fulfilling life without constantly chasing approval, the whole system suddenly looks very different from the outside.
Men stopped playing by the rules, and now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.